Our local model setup works great until we need a different model. Now we're killing Llama-Server, changing ports, updating our OpenAI base URL, waiting for reloads, and just hoping nothing freaks out. All because our coding model is too big for quick chat, and your small model is too dumb for real code. Llama-Swap fixes that. One endpoint, multiple models, automatic swapping, and your tools don't know anything changed. I'll show you how to set this up in the next couple minutes. Most local LLM devs eventually hit the same wall. At first, you use something convenient, Ollama, LM Studio, something that just works because it does. And honestly, that's great because they've gotten a lot better. But then we start wanting more control. You want exact llama.cpp flags, GPU layer placement, maybe context size, custom backends, maybe even experimental models. So you move closer to raw llama server, and that feels awesome. Until you realize you just traded one problem for another. Now you're doing this. You're killing your llama server, then you start Coder, then 5 minutes later, what are you doing? You're killing your llama server. You're bouncing between these models. And every time you do that, something waits, reconnects, fails, or silently uses the wrong model. So what you're really trying to do is keep one endpoint in front, swap whatever models you want behind it. That is the gap that Llama-Swap fills. If you enjoy coding tools that speed up your workflow, be sure to subscribe. We have videos coming out all the time. Now, let me show you before we talk about it how all this works. Right now, Llama-Swap is running locally on one port. My client only knows this base URL, not one URL for Quen, not another for small LM, another URL for embeddings, just one front door. Here's a tiny config with two models. So one is Quen Coder, the other is small LM2, and each one has its own command. Each one has its own model file, each one has its own context size. And the difference between these two is each one of these also has its own TTL. Now I'll ask the coding model for something. I send one normal OpenAI style chat request. The model field says Quen Coder. Okay, great. Let's watch the logs. It waits until the backend is healthy, then it sends the request through. Now, here's the thing that is not happening. I'm not changing the URL. I'm not restarting Open WebUI. I'm not editing this in Cursor. I'm changing one field. So the model goes from Quen Coder to small LM2, same endpoint, same client, different model. And when the model sits idle past this TTL, Llama-Swap can unload it so your VRAM comes back. That's the whole trick. Your tools think they are talking to one API. Llama-Swap handles the messy part behind all the curtains to really control how things are going. Okay, great. So what is Llama-Swap? I kind of demoed it here, right? Think of it like a hub for your local models. Your apps don't talk directly to every model server, they talk to Llama-Swap. Then Llama-Swap looks at the model field and decides what should happen. If the model is already running, it's going to forward the request. If the model is not running, well, then it's going to start the request. If another model needs to get out of the way, it's going to stop. Then your client gets a normal response. So there's no changing base URLs every 10 minutes. There's one binary, one config file, one stable API endpoint. It's built in Go and it uses YAML config. It works as a proxy for OpenAI-compatible and Anthropic-compatible APIs, and it can sit in front of backends like llama.cpp, vLLM, Tabby API, and more. If you're lucky, you might have 10 or 20 models on disk, but only enough VRAM to keep one or two loaded. TTL helps with that. If a model is idle long enough, Llama-Swap can unload it. So instead of your GPU being stuck holding a model that we're not actually using, it can free that memory for the next request. Before, you had to remember what is running. Now the config remembers for you. At this point, the obvious question is, why not just use Ollama or LM Studios or plain Llama Server? And the answer is, well, you might. Llama-Swap doesn't replace these all the time. It solves a very specific problem. Compared to Ollama, Llama-Swap is not a model store, downloader, or a beginner-friendly CLI. That is not the point here. The point is control. You bring your own llama.cpp build, you bring your own flags, you decide exactly how each model launches. Compared to LM Studio, Llama-Swap is more server first, no GUI required. It fits better into a dev box, a home lab server, Docker, or a shared machine where tools just need a stable API. This is not as easy as Ollama run Llama 3. You need your model files, you need to understand your backend, you need to write YAML, you need to know which flags fit your GPU. There is no built-in model gallery that just downloads and configures everything for you, so honestly, the setup is a huge pain. But for some devs, this solves a very specific pain. The pain of knowing exactly what model you want, but wasting time wiring and rewiring everything around it. It's worth trying if you use tools like Cursor, Continue, custom agents, or local scripts. This is going to be useful, but the setup is more intensive. So that's Llama-Swap. One stable API endpoint, multiple local models behind it, automatic swapping, idle unloads, full backend control. The main idea here is simple. Your clients stop caring which model server is actually running. Llama-Swap handles all that for them. If you enjoy coding tools like this, be sure to subscribe. We'll see you in another video.